Howdy, folks. I'm Brian,
I'm Amber.
and here's some Reddit. As you can see, Amber is being obscured by friends. Alright, folks, our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Wearing the Same Dress as My Best Friend to Her Birthday Party? My best friend recently celebrated her 21st birthday. For the sake of this post, we'll call her Sash. As long as we've been friends, Sash has never celebrated any birthdays. However, this year she chose to throw a big party, as she's moving abroad next year. For some context, Sash is 5'7", slightly chubby, and weedish tone. Despite this, I've always thought of her as cute in her own way. I like how they said, despite this.
This feels like a backhanded
Yeah,
compliment.
this is a neg if I have ever heard one. On the other hand, I've always been petite and small, which I'm guessing that she's jealous of, though I don't think that she needs to be. Sash has always worn rather baggy clothes ever since middle school. That was her thing, but now that she's in the process of losing weight, her style has significantly changed. I see a lot of cleavage and revealing clothes on her social media, and it baffles me because it's just not her. For her birthday, she chose this cut out maroon dress and sent me a picture of it, asking for my opinion. I told her that I didn't think it was the best option as she still isn't quite as fit as the dress requires. And she's too tall for the dress, anyways. She told me that I didn't have to be mean about it and got the dress anyways. To be honest, I love the dress and have always thought of maroon as my color. So I decided to get the dress, the same one for myself, and surprise her so we could twin at her party and get cute Instagrammable posts. However, she wasn't pleased. Sash asked me why I had thought that this was a good idea, and I told her that I only wanted us both to look good at what is essentially her last birthday party with me. She told me that she didn't believe me and accused me of wanting to upstage her. She went on a whole rant about how I treated her like she was a guy friend just because I'm smaller than her and somewhat made her feel less girl like. I've always told her that I thought of her as my guy friend because that's her thing. She always wore hoodies and baggy clothing. I don't see how me thinking of her as my guy friend is wrong. She's got livid and told me that she struggles with body image, and I made it worse by calling her names like bear, panda, my boy, etc. She also told me that she hates it when I tell her that she looks like a girl when she does dress up. I don't know why that stung her because it's a compliment. I snapped and I told her that she's always jealous of me and was mad because she thinks that I always steal the spotlight by how I look. That's not what I think, but I know that this is what she thinks. She told me that she couldn't believe how selfish and obnoxious I was and asked me to leave. So I did. Other members of our group have now told me that I'm a jerk, but I don't see what I did wrong. I was only trying to honor our friendship. It wasn't about her or upstaging her. Am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
I think OP's a jerk. Like, there's just so much, like, thinly veiled negativity in here.
Yeah, that's the trouble I have here. And in the comments, she tries to play this off as her being very like naive and almost like innocent and like, oh, I just didn't know that this was gonna come across
If
this
you
way.
really didn't know, you wouldn't have given the context of
Yeah,
I'm hot and she's not type of
yeah,
things. Like, oh well, but I think she's cute in her own way. It's like
yeah.
no, you are basically insinuating that your friend is ugly and boyish because she wears baggy clothes. Like,
Yeah, and then
people of any gender can wear baggy clothes. It's not a guy thing.
well, and also sounds like maybe OP has kind of pushed her
Mm-hmm.
towards wearing those kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
So while Sash isn't necessarily like is has in the past worn these things, it might even be because OP here has really pushed her to wear those
Yeah, well,
things.
then her post where she's like, this is not like it talks about how she's wearing these revealing clothes now. And it's like that's not her thing. It's like it can be her thing if
Yeah,
she wants it to be. Like it sounds like OP might be one of those people who has like the ugly friend or something.
yeah,
You know, they want to have some friends who they look better than all the time, and she doesn't like that her friend's style is changing because then she'd have to acknowledge that her friend is kind of pretty too.
But she's pretty in her own way,
Yeah,
Amber.
well, and then so then she goes out to like put her in her place by being like, "See, I've got the body for this dress and you don't." Like
Yeah, and that's
anyone can
unfortunately.
wear any kind of dress. Like it's not like they wouldn't, it's just so ridiculous.
It really comes across as very condescending and very backhanded, and I really honestly don't buy her whole act of, oh, I'm just innocent. I didn't know that this was wrong.
Well,
But even on the off chance that it is, right? Maybe she doesn't understand social norms or social cues or something like that. She still owes her friend an apology,
mm-hmm,
right? And her friend has told her in the past, it sounds like, not to say these things,
mm-hmm.
and she continues to say and do these things. So, yeah, at a certain point, you can only claim so much naivety.
Right. Well, and I'm even someone who struggles a bit with social cues, and I love twinning with people, but I have enough awareness to know that like you don't steal someone's birthday dress. You
Yeah,
know,
I
like
mean,
you that would be the sort of thing that you ask them about beforehand, like, "Oh, hey, would it be cute if we twin together?"
yeah, and that's, I think, reasonable, right? You ask if it's okay, and then you go ahead and twin when it is okay, or not if it isn't okay.
Mm-hmm.
Can we twin? No? Okay. Well, I'm gonna twin with you anyways. Let me know what you folks think. Naive, just innocent, or really backhanded and not so good. Anyhow, take care and good luck. Alright, folks, our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Offering Two Different Kinds of Cake at Our Wedding? My husband Josh and I just had our wedding a couple of weeks ago, and we mostly got good feedback. Until today, we have heard that a lot of people have been smack talking the cake behind our backs. Josh and I originally were going to have a smaller wedding at a resort. We were fortunate enough to be given some money to invite extra guests, so we decided to expand the wedding and have some of our second cousins and their kids and some friends that we otherwise wouldn't get to see as often. We're on a budget, so we decided to keep the fancy cake, the cutting cake for the pictures, not the real cake, for immediate family and the pastor and a few members of the wedding party that we have known for the longest. We gave them cake in boxes to take home so that they wouldn't be eating in front of everyone else. Minus the pastor, because he flew out from a ways away and he's a vegan, so he couldn't eat the dinner, and we wanted him to have something to eat before it got too late. I just hope that this cake was actually vegan.
Mm-hmm.
Because it doesn't sound like it might have been.
No, well, like, why wouldn't you get a meal for your
Why
pastor?
why wouldn't you feed your pastor a
Like,
vegan meal?
that's the kind of the first rule of weddings is you feed everyone who's doing
No.
work for you.
It's terrible. And the poor pastor, of course, is probably like has a heart of gold and is too kind to like say anything about it too. We got a couple of sheet cakes. One was vanilla and buttercream with rosettes, and the other one was a sheet cake of pineapple chocolate chunk, especially for Josh's side of the family, because they spend a lot of time in Florida. I
Is
just want
is that a Florida thing?
to. In the comments, no. From the comments, this is not a thing.
Like that just sounds horrifying, but I also don't like pineapple.
We found out from talking with family that there was a lot of full slices left behind on people's plates of the pineapple cake, which the servers would not take home with them. So we noticed that you can see it in a lot of pictures. We were having too much fun to notice at the time. We loved catching up with all of our guests though. Apparently Josh's family did not like the cake that we thought that they would like, and there have been some unkind words behind our backs. We got a text from Josh's uncle that wasn't meant for us to see, and it really stung. We are unsure of where to go from here and what to say. The cake did not go off like we had hoped, but we think that they are being unnecessarily mean. By the way, there was a full dinner, three kinds of cheese, even Monterey Jack available, and an open bar that didn't close until late. So I feel like we were pretty good to our guests on a shoestring budget. All right, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
I'm gonna say OP is the jerk here. Now, in the comments, they explained that people didn't get to pick what kind of cakes they were. OP's side got the one with the buttercream frosting, and Josh's side got the chocolate pineapple. And because they thought this would encourage people to trade cakes.
Trade cakes.
Yeah, like, which
Trade
in the
cakes.
era of COVID, like, that just seems like a disaster. But, like, just assuming that everyone in a family is going to want a certain type of cake is just such a big assumption to make.
Well, and here's really, if you want to have multiple flavors of cake at a wedding, then you make sure to have enough of a plain type flavor
Mm-hmm.
that just about everyone can have it.
Yeah. Like, so I don't think if there would be anything wrong with having a chocolate pineapple cake as an option if you really
Yeah.
want it, but you gotta understand most people are not gonna want chocolate pineapple.
Yeah, and then also put on your RSVP cards what type of cake people want, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, it sounds like they had intended on this to be like a fun type of thing where people, oh, if I don't want my cake, I can exchange it for a different piece of cake. But that's pretty presumptuous because
Mm-hmm.
chocolate pineapple is a uncommon flavor.
Yeah, whereas vanilla buttercream is like pretty standard, most people will like it.
Yeah, there aren't many people that I know that are going to be jumping at eating pineapple chocolate, although pineapple chocolate is a fine flavor combination. I don't think that there's anything wrong with it. But it's also not necessarily a flavor combination that a lot of people are necessarily going to be jumping at because it's a bit odd, it's a bit unusual. So I think that this is one of those kind of situations where you really need to know a head count on how many people are going to want this
Mm-hmm.
exotic flavor before you go ahead and offer it as people's only option.
Yeah, well, and be like, well, you're from Florida, so or you go to Florida a lot, so clearly you'll like this. Like, it's just so presumptuous. And
It's very oddly presumptuous because like it's Hawaii's the pineapple
hmm
state, right? I mean, not Florida. Okay, and I'm getting distracted here. Feed your pastor.
Yes, yeah, that's the other thing that makes you a jerk is like if people have dietary restrictions, it's on you to make sure that they have something that they can eat.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you fed the poor guy cake he couldn't eat, it sounds like. And you didn't give him a meal. And cake is not a meal. It's
Mm-hmm.
not a substitute for a meal. And that's really what this boils down to. So, yeah, there are a few faux pas here. And while I don't necessarily know that OP was completely like, I don't think they were, hopefully weren't malicious about
Mm-hmm.
these things. It really was one of those things where you need to get people's input before you go
Mm-hmm.
ahead with these things. So that's my thoughts. Let me know what you folks think. Anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here. I picked it out myself, and Amber's got a joke. She was laughing about it.
Who said ho 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 plop?
Santa falling off a roof.
Santa Claus laughing his head off. It's great, isn't it?
No, it's terrible.
I love it.
It is a stunningly, fabulously terrible joke. Oh no. And I have licorice spice.
This is a kid's book, remind you.
Yeah, this is a child's book. Apparently it was written during the French Revolution. Santa was a little too rich. His elves weren't happy
Eat
and they
the
stayed.
rich.
Viva la revolution, said the elves. And before you know it, Santa had a very bad day. A very jolly end to a very jolly man. A not so jolly end to a very jolly man. This is going off the rails, folks. We're gonna end this story, end this before it's too late. All right,
Before
folks.
Bernard the Unhinged makes an
Before
appearance.
Bernard the Unhinged. And we now know why Santa Claus, who was leading the revolts, it was Bernard the Unhinged. He went to the North Pole and staged a coup against Santa Claus. He has a very rich history. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, consider giving it a like, but I can't guarantee that we're going to get any likes out of the untimely execution of Santa Claus, long live Thanksgiving. That's why we have the Thanksgiving
Yes,
crafts.
happy Thanksgiving,
Happy
people.
Thanksgiving.
Happy Friday, Junior.
Happy Friday, Junior. Enjoy the visuals for the rest of the day. This is not a safe for work episode at this point in time. I hope you all have a great day, and we'll see you all tomorrow.